Now you hear me. Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome here on this English live stream. Jesse Network, yes. Yes, and I tried to work on it, and it worked just now. And now I'm live, and now it's flickering. I know. So, yeah, I do everything to prevent that, and now it starts. So, and I'm not sure where I am live on which platforms, because the Prism app might not everywhere caught up with all my. I will take care of the lighting. Hello, Danny, welcome here. Hello, Yvonne Groot as well. I will try to close more curtains, dear people. So I'll be back. Let's see what I can do. It all worked, so just fine a few minutes ago. Okay. And I will tell you all soon, when I start in a bit, about why also all this happened with well, things did not run as I wanted. So I will explain that in a bit. I will first close some curtains. So hello Marco as well. So I'll be back. Hello everyone. Well, dear people, you should see the setting here. It's all dark in here, so well, it's the way it is. It will Hello Marco. Yeah, I know, it's a pity. Are there English talking people? Well, I explained more times that I understand that for many Dutch, that when, for example, the majority are Dutch in an English live stream, I understand that. But there are people who watch my live stream who are not taking active part in the chat, and on other channels they are present, and I can check that. And the English, the Tuesday evening is for English live streams, and I get really messages from people, keep doing this for that everyone can watch it. So, and I love doing the English talk as well. So, yeah, it's English tonight, Danny. I hope it's okay. Well, it is. Yeah, it is my decision. And coming Saturday, it will be Dutch. Hello, Foxy 86. Welcome. So Marco, I do understand, but I have to make choices, and it's better that I make the choice. But it's a good question, because I understand you as well, but then you know that it is really on purpose chosen. And also clarity for you all. So Tuesday evening is English, and Saturday is in principle, it is in Dutch, but yeah, like last Saturday, Dana was my guest. Yeah, that was so amazing. So yeah, I have to let it go through until I have maybe my own studio in a bit. Who knows what will happen in the future, that I can have my studio. That is a big wish of mine. So, but if you can manage with English, and I think it was Barry Henderson who came up with that in the chat. I saw it came by that on YouTube you can, even in a live stream, put the subtitles in your preferred language. Dus je kunt ondertitels in het Nederlands doen terwijl het live is. So while I'm live, you can do the subtitles in your preferred language. Well, that's great, isn't it? I did not yet really try it out, but I think it works. So, well, for tonight, I have an interesting subject which I touched upon already in earlier live streams, but I was so fulfilled with every live stream earlier that I even could not get to the underground cities of which I also was. And as you all know, I am digging up my military part in me, which is a huge part in me. I really feel that. And I start, as always, with my deprogramming. Well, that was again an interesting day today. And this is why I was delayed. And I will first check as well. Okay, I am live on Trovo. Hello, dear people on Trovo as well. I will greet first everyone who is there on Trovo. Hello, Samurai and SR1 Nix hosting me now. Oh, thank you so much. I'm very honored that you host me. And on Rumble, I am live, I believe. And that is always a bit confusing to me, because I don't see myself live, and apparently I am live there, so I have no clue what it is. So maybe someone can check. My mic can louder. I have my mic on the loudest as possible, so on the max. So it should be very well now. Maybe it's now better, Marco, and also if others have that same thing with the mic. Thea, thank you so much. I'm live on Rumble. All right. Well, I don't see that. I don't see that here on my screen. So okay. So welcome everyone. Well, it was a great Saturday, last Saturday with Dana. And tonight I will talk about my own process, my deprogramming process. Yeah, and I know the lighting, I just, when the sun here in the Netherlands is, of course, because we're in June, heading for the lightest day of June, the 21st of June. And everything is dark here, so I don't get it. I looked up how I should do the lighting, so if maybe someone who has experience with lighting maybe can give me a hint of how I can fix it, the flickering of the light. So it's dark here where I sit, so it appears to be very light, and it's not the case here where I sit in this corner. So I apologize, but it will change. I promise you that it will change. Again, welcome, and I see here now a connection error, so I hope everything will run, because I'm not sure everything is working accordingly, but let's find out. Well, as always, I will start with my deprogramming, and my deprogramming, as I call it by now, my deprogramming perks. Well, not really, of course, because it is very tough deprogramming, and I came along today. Again, the toughness of the deprogramming, and as you all know, I am trying to dig up my military part. I will maybe turn my screen, maybe then the lighting will be less. Wait, maybe this is better. I hope it will be better, the focus of the camera. So maybe it is better this way. All right, let's find out. So that I am digging up my military part, and this is also the reason why I chose to do for tonight specifically the underground secret cities, because I also love talking about it, what I came across and what it is, what I experienced there. And also I will a bit highlight, because I have a son. He's now a bit over his 40s already, or right below his 40s, and my son's name is James, or Jamie as in short, and he was born in the deep state as well, in that underground city, and I will talk about that as well. But first, my deprogramming, because I am hitting upon my military part in me, That was that today again. I talk very openly about that in my programming. Well, let's start with in every MK Ultra, in any mind control one, full mind control one, is something put in the mind, which will, if with the deprogramming or for example the programming breaks, that then there will be something activated. It is like a booby trap as well, and this booby trap is in me, put in many layers, is the eating disorders. And next to booby traps, not only the eating disorders, but also self-harm layers and suicidal layers. But for me was the most extreme one, and also built in my military part, of which I'm now digging up everything. I hope to come by everything and see now the chat is also not clear. Now it is, I hope. And that I came today specifically across, again, a little monster in me, which was woken up with another booby trap. And this booby trap, I call it a booby trap because my former programmers, coming from the deep state and who want to prevent me from remembering, they built in literally like tiny little explosions in my body, and these explosions are these programming which are hidden, and even hidden for my former alter systems and personality systems. And that is that, for example, that I bumped now in another military part in me, and this one was totally not aware of that she was carrying little personalities of 4 or 5 years old, and they were all sitting on their knees, and they were looking, and I literally see them then visually, so with my inner eye. So I see them then sitting, and they were hiding behind this personality part of my military personality, main personality, which I dug up, especially this year. And that these little ones, I saw 3 of them, and they were all sitting on their knees, and they were looking like we're ready to jump in to activate the eating disorders. Well, the eating disorders are overall to put everything in me upset about whatever food I have. And it doesn't matter if it's candy, if it's some snack, if it's rice, if it's bread. Every single food item in me has been polluted by programming once. So then you can maybe have an idea of how hard I have to work to get out of every layer which was built in. And specifically when there is a programming layer which suddenly jumped up, like today, with 3 little personalities of 4 or 5 years old. And they were all trying to get me in the eating disorders again. So that, and the biggest threat is the anorexic, so not wanting to eat, but it's put in opposite of each other. So eating too much or eating too little. So and then it will never ever be in balance. That's what the programmers hope. And of course, the programmers hope every time that I will give up my search for myself, my whole self being healed. And I will never give up. It's I believe maybe that is why I feel so connected as well to Dana, who was a last Saturday guest. And he told me something which resonated in me. Like the more they come towards me to pull me down, the more I'm driven to go ahead with the truth. And I feel also inspired by who saved me, like angels and God. And for me, God is a reality, a knowing. It's for me not a belief system, not a belief. No, I know there is a creator, and I call it God. Him God, her God. It doesn't matter. It's an energy of which I met and know, and it has a real existence for me. So, and I survived because of that, and I will always be grateful for that. And that is, I believe, as well, my protection. And I'm certainly not that I think like that no one can ever touch me or harm me. No, this is why I'm going outside, not every single time on a fixed time. And the majority of times that I go outside, it's only small trips, small going outside, and many times still accompanied by my dear friend here. So I know I know my borders. But yeah, it was a tough one. And today, and this is why then all of a sudden then I'm doing live streaming, and I know that. And I felt today, while preparing for the live stream, an incredible tiredness. This is again another expression of a programming which I hit upon in this military personality. And then I get incredible tired in my head, and then I cannot deal with any socializing or being in social contact on my social media. And I say it repeatedly often, but I want to really watch the live streams of many by now friends of mine and visit these live streams, and I have to make a choice only for some because I cannot deal with it there. And maybe that will always be a vulnerability. I'm just very vulnerable to the impact of social media, and I come from so many years isolation, living voluntarily isolation in this house of the majority of years. So then I was, before I went live, in a hurry, and then me and my dear friend here decided that I would go for a long walk. And I was again in a beautiful city near canals and close to Amsterdam, and I went through Amsterdam, which is just one of my favorite cities. And that already did well. That did so well for my for my positive vibes. So, and then we worked on it, on this inner part, and then I discovered these 3 toddler personalities. But the tiring thing about it is that every time that I am identified a bit with what has been put in my programming, and that's the tiring thing, this is the reason why I chose to do my deprogramming away from my loved one, and that I have to do that in the majority of time here in this house. That is really a voluntarily choice of mine to be with the love of my life. So, and I already received so much love. So, well, I talk about that in earlier live streams, how I uncovered and discovered and experienced love in now so many, in all lives layers, and that is, I'm so grateful for that as well. That's a whole new world for me in the integration. So it's amazing to discover, and also, of course, the love what I receive from you all, and it is all happening now, and this is why I was working from when I was 6 years old. When I was 6 years old, I already knew that I had a certain mission, and I really call it a mission to talk about who I am, what has been done to me, and just to let know about what mind control is, and specifically that we can say no to evil. And we should not be afraid of the evil just doing their things and saying we should do this and we should do that. No, we are free people. We are not connected to any rules which is created by Lucifer honoring many of the elite as well. So, and I feel that if we all say no, then we can do this. I just know that, and I have the right to say we should say no. And what is wrong with that accidentally the whole, a big part of the world all at once just say no to evil? I think we have the right, and that is my mission. And I have many visions also when I was in God, and I talked about it in other live streams. It is really the truth. I had many cardiac arrests, and then I met God, because otherwise I could not have survived. And I know it sounds all like a science fiction, Danny, you should write a book, make a movie or stage play. Yeah, I want to, but I'm not a writer. I'm, I'm not. That's not my skill. So, but yeah. I was thinking maybe of a ghost writer, if that is the right term. But yeah, that's one of my wishes. Yeah, Danny, what you expressed there. Uh, and that mission is to talk about, as I said, about that there is a positive outcome possible, but that's my opinion. I've seen it. I have seen, and I mean this, I have seen in the positive timeline, and which has touched the negative timeline, so the extreme negativity can never ever win the way I saw it in the negative timeline. I'm just so convinced by that. And that's just knowing, an inside knowing. And it's not being, how do you say that? It's not about being naive or too much of my grounding. No, I am very grounded. I meditate every day. I work hard on my inner process. And I do investigation still. When I have a guest, for example, then I prepare myself. Then that's very grounded. And otherwise, my dear friend here keeps me grounded, or the love, it is really grounding. But I truly have seen in that vision the walkout of people all at the same time. And I saw it. So, and that's the only thing what I try to express and to voice. And apparently, I'm doing this now for more than a year, twice a week. And now my channels seem to grow a bit, and I'm very grateful for that. And that is all thanks to you all. And I really mean that. And I say that too often, but it is just for me a truth and a knowing. And I feel that in my heart. And yeah, all the gifts I get because of that. So yeah, Danny, yeah, that would be great. Ooh, yeah, that would be awesome. Well, we talk soon, again. Um, so yeah, that's my passion. That's why I made that bridge towards again my vision, and it has also got to do with that is also the reason why I talk openly about that I have children still alive, also from some elite who are my children, and they walk around on this earth, and I see them often a while in the media, and it is the truth, and it should be known that it does exist, that I come from the invisible. I almost wanted to say I come from invincible. Well, I feel invincible. And a great buddy of mine, his word was also invincible, a very strong keyword to manage, and like a mantra, like I'm invincible. He wrote it down often on the mirror, like when he watched himself preparing for his show or wanted to write some songs for his lyrics. Then he wrote it on the mirror. And yeah, I did. Those things are also precious to me. But thanks to these memories and thanks to having met people like this, that they also told me, like, Monique, you can do this. They believed in me, and some of them are no longer alive, like also some of my children. And I had a lot of children in the deep state, and one of them is James, of which I hope will be capable, I hope so, to talk about it after the break. Maybe later on, maybe not now, but it will fit in how the evening will go. And so that's a bit what I wanted to talk about, the deprogramming, and as well to repeat again, like, deprogramming is really tough. The toughest thing about deprogramming is like standing up again and facing another part in me, like today, who doesn't know about me and carries these eating disorders. And eating disorders are really a little monster, which if it gets me again, yeah, then it grows and grows and grows. And that's the danger of eating disorders. And yeah, I wish that to no one. But compared to, for example, what in mind control and full mind controlled and monarchs is put in, like me, is a lot of times also addiction to drugs, or addiction to alcohol, or addiction to sexual activities. And fortunately, I have only eating disorders. Well, it's not only the eating disorders, it can be disastrous, and I'm very much aware of that. So, and I take it very serious. But the hard thing is, I think that I uncovered my military part, and I knew I had to dig deeper to find out what is underneath all these layers in my military part. But there it goes again. I'm identified and again with eating disorders, these three little ones in me. So then I have to guide them again. And it was coming by like a movie. Yeah, that is really one of my wishes, and a musical, yeah, as well. To write a story and to put it in a movie, or I think there will be more movies needed than only one, if one would capture my life in one movie. But that is, yeah, I really touched by the comments in the chat, because that's already a hard wish of mine for so long, to that my story for the next generations, that it will survive or something. But I know as well that my being will live, will continue to live, so it will not die, so it's only material. But I'm very much aware of that. That is a true wish of mine. But the biggest wish is that peacefully walk out in saying no to evil. That is my mission. So now you know what my mission all the time is. When I talk about my mission, it is because I've seen it happen. And I will never ever let go of that vision. And it is only a dream. I'm not calling up for something, for certainly not violence. But I feel as people we have the right to say no to evil and to stand up. And it happens to be all at the same time. Well, it's accidentally, but that's what I think will work and will happen. I have to be so careful in what I say. Hey, Tineke Jessie. Hello, Lily. Welcome. The evils are very crazy. They want in my place that the kids a few hours longer on school. Is that now going on? The school until 5:30? Oh my gosh. Yeah, more programming, more mind control. Well, and it's not the teachers on its own, but yeah, it is. Danny writes, you know the expression, who is riding, who is staying? Well, in Dutch it rhymes, dear people from abroad, but it is, in Dutch it rhymes. Wie schrijft, die blijft. But translated in English, it doesn't rhyme. So, but you have those expressions as well. That riding stays forever or something. So, okay. So, yeah, that's so I'm sitting now here behind the camera and talking about it very clear, very joyful, or joyful, very I feel very good, but that is because I did my inner work, my inner alternative therapy works, which I know now by now what is the fundament to keep strong and not letting the eating disorders win. But yeah, it's a battle. It's literally a battle. And this new personality part is was very against as well my eating pattern. And that has got to do with my military personality who came forward, who is my main, I talked about it, like babushka puppets, like you have the babushka puppet, a Russian puppet, the wooden dolls with within a doll, within a doll, within a doll. And she is actually the biggest doll, and now I find all these more little dolls inside of her. And she was against me eating, or not she, but this new personality was totally not aware that my military part with that biggest babushka puppet, that she was trying to guide me in healthy food pattern, like letting go of too many, how you say that, bread and so on. I'm a bit addicted to bread. Often in life here, I only eat some bread and cheese and some vegetables, but she has her habit of, no, feed yourself with rice and fish and so on. And I do love fish, but she tries to help me to overcome these eating disorder triggers. But it is really a hard, tough fight, literally a battle to continue. And I felt drained after when I came back. But also now I'm doing this live stream, and now I suddenly am energized, and that's because I'm doing the live stream, I guess, or I'm helped by beings, because that's the bridge to what I'm going to talk about. And I take a sip of my tea, and welcome everyone for also the ones on Trovo and on Rumble, YouTube as well, and my second YouTube channel. I apologize for everyone who is on my full English channel, and I promise I will upload it straight tomorrow morning, this live. But apparently I cannot stream at the same time YouTube, my both YouTube channels. So that's it is the way it is. Danny Jolly, Matrushka. Yeah, Matrushka. That's the other word for it, exactly. I love these dolls, by the way. So I had a collection of it. I was a collector of these babushka dolls in my Dutch front life, and I all gave it away. So, well, many things, by the way, that's also interesting for even if you're not mind controlled or MK Ultra like me, many things you have in life in a matter and you're attached to can have a certain a connection as well, even with a deeper theme in your life or in your personality. That is my experience. Even before I knew about my MK Ultra past, that is what maybe not many people might maybe know, but before I started to remember, I was already very intuitive and clairvoyant, and I was reading the I Ching. Why am I now doubting it? That's interesting. And reading about Lao Tse, the Chinese wise man, and I was in Japanese philosophy and all kinds of spirituality. So I was one of the first, I guess, who discovered David Icke by reading. Many people in the 90s were discovering him as well. So I was already very aware of what was going on. But since 2000, I had that breakdown, as many of you know. Hello, Truthiness. Welcome. Russian nesting dolls. Oh, that's how they're called. Yeah, of course. So nice that you're here. Welcome. For you, it's of course not such the right moment, maybe, because it's for you still in the afternoon. So, and I am doing, that counts for everyone. I will continue doing often a while, also for me, midnight, Amsterdam, after midnight, live streams in English. And I am now planning on, not this week, but next week, to do one from 3 o'clock in the morning, Amsterdam time zone. So, let's see, maybe that's nice to know, and I will announce that as well, of course, on my social media. So, well, so this uncovering of this personality system, well, it's a tough journey, and as I said, when it's so separate from others, and then in my case, I have not one babushka puppet in me with all these layers inside, no, but I had so many, uncountable. And it's like literally like all cities in Europe, like when you live in a city, you don't know all your neighbors, maybe only in the apartment building where you live, or even not even. Well, that was how I started to unravel all my personality systems, and that started actually from 2000 when I had my burnout. But it's, as many of you know by now, from 2010, I really started to deprogram and finding out about that I had MK Ultra programming. Well, and then it was like having not only 64 personalities. I still recall that I was in a lecture together with my dear friend here, and I only thought that I had 64 personalities dug up and integrated, and that was it. And then I was in a lecture, and there was sitting someone on the stage, and she had 3 or 4 personalities, and she was, she was also in a facility. And then I felt so weird and so lonely, and it scared me because I felt like, how can I do 64 personalities? And when a personality in her came forward, then her ego was gone, and I was sitting there in that lecture, like almost putting my finger up, like, yeah, but I have 64 personalities, and I'm very aware of them, so. And then my dear friend told me, well, you know, she said that was actually the exercise to find out if you could do that in the middle of an audience in a lecture, to then put up your finger and say to the people, stand up, like, hey, but I have 64 personalities integrated. And I did not do that. And I'm very happy that I did not do that, because I never wanted to overrule the lady on the stage who was in one of her personalities. And yeah, for me that was still an amazing moment. But after that I found out, then I even did not know about that I had military memories. Because I will go and touch upon the subject for tonight of the deep state underground cities, but this is connected to it, because I was always intrigued by military people, by planes, by science fiction movies, by science fiction series. I always wanted to be flying in a UFO, but also in air traffic. I was always so, but also military life. Just I always wanted to join, but I felt like, no, me wallflower, no, never. You know, I will never manage that. And I was, of course, passionate about my music and so on. So everything, when you're MK Ultra, it does leak through what is actually a passion, or what is actually could be hidden programming. So so the military part, as I said, there are deep state underground cities of which I was in, and my military programming was a lot programmed. The basic programming came from White Rabbit, and I always have to think about not mentioning his name. So somehow the name specifically of White Rabbit, I all the time want to say his real name, and that's why you see me think that I will not mention his name. But he was part of the military. He also was with a lot of presidents, and he was actually in the deep state and in the shadow world. He was higher leveled, and he had more knowledge about also AI, about what is now called super soldier programming, and so on. And he is still, I believe he's still alive. I never checked if he's still alive, but that he was a big part in also programming me, and literally bringing me towards also connecting to AI, but also off-planet experiments and so on, but also to the underground cities. Well, the underground cities are specific ones. I saw now and then. So he's still alive, Yvonne? Yeah. Well, then I get acknowledged what I feel, but he is already at a very high age. I really wonder if he still has. I believe he might have given his little book with my coding as well to someone else. So, but maybe I will feel that. So, 91, Yvonne Groot, 91. Yeah, I think he is at that age by now. Yeah. And he had some heart problems as well. But Yvonne, I remember that you had it right with that it is this specific person, but I cannot mention his name. So, so these underground cities, and this my military programming. Well, for each city is a coding, and I talked in earlier live streams about there is a beast computer. This beast computer is gigantic. This beast computer is connected to AI, and this beast computer, this is why it can influence also the computer systems in here and now. And I touch upon something. If you want to look up, for example, Phil Schneider, he has been seen as that he was mentally unstable, this Phil Schneider, but he worked in, was aware of these underground cities, and he worked with drilling. I have still his book, also read his book, and a lot of what he says is the truth. And he shows in his lectures, you can find them on YouTube, he shows also material of alien material as well, and of how they drilled these certain inner underground cities. And he talked as well many years later about a giant computer with AI, and this AI makes that giant beast computer even more stronger. And it is a very complex theme. I know I talked about a high commander which is flying through the skies, and I mean the skies, the outside the atmosphere of Earth, because Earth has several layers of which you can go through portals, and there are several type of portals. Maybe I will dive into that more. Thank you for following Dragon's Dean. I am wondering, isn't it dangerous to talk about the beast computer? That's a good question. Well, I believe that what I talked about now is already pretty dangerous, yeah. So, but I'm still here, so, and I'm not scared. And I believe that a big protection is that I am not afraid and I am deprogrammed enough. But I think also too many people are now aware of that it exists, the shadow world. So, but yeah, it's a good question, Dragon's Dean. A very good question. By the way, there should be this there should be a nice notification by a new follower. So I put it on now. So I'm curious if it will now work. But you're welcome, Dragon's Dean, here in this loving community, respectful community. And so these underground cities, and now I lost my train of thought, that every underground city has a coding and is, and I'm talking about the underground cities of where I was with the secret black army. And this black army was literally called like that. And it's not about that it has got to do with people who have this certain skin tone. No, it is about that this secret black army had black suits on, black military suits, and had AI underneath in the inside of the suits. And the markers for if someone was, for example, a sergeant or sergeant major, and so on, or lieutenant, all these levels and degrees in the military, that AI showed it. So all these black, what I've seen, I can only talk about what I experienced and what I had to wear as well. When I was active also for the Black Ops, I also had to wear a suit, a black suit, and it fitted like a glove. And my right arm was connected most of the time to a certain glove which had AI. And I talked about that already earlier, that I was connected from when I was very little, extremely little, so when I was a toddler, to AI and what they call black goo, what is where black goo originates of. And I was connected to an AI and organic mix of alien technology and alien organism, and that my right hand would be enhanced. And by the way, my programming in this was therefore as well connected to, I think, the many of you Star Trek fans maybe the Seven of Nine. A Seven of Nine was a character which when you look at the television series, then the Seven of Nine was an extreme important personality in me as well. Well, she was called Seven of Nine. And many of in the Star Trek were programming coding. Even the star date, what you see pronounced by the host in the beginning of each Star Trek episode, then actually that's ideal for calling up personalities from wherever I would be. If I would hear that code, then it would enter the Seven of Nine personality. Well, maybe interesting to know that many of the Star Trek series, also the other series like The Next Generation and so on, Voyager, I can tell live streams about the programming. Maybe I will do that in another time. Talk about specific Star Trek, and all the series which were put in me as programming. I recall, for example, also an episode of which you see a twin, and they were based on the binary code of the computer, and they were thinking together, so they were connected as a twin, and twinning is a very important programming as well for mind control, like I had. I had many twins in my system, in my personality systems, and that was a binary twin. And I seem to remember that they even were half literally black painted and the other side was white painted. Of course, it was all makeup. That's why I say that. Maybe you recall that. It was a very, very good episode, by the way. I loved Star Trek. And that is also what they do a lot with these MK Ultras, like I was, to make you also a fan of a television series. And there are many alarming signs all together, that, for example, someone could be in mind control, because it's not that you're a fan of Star Trek and that you're then mind controlled. No, there are more alarming signals, and which combined can maybe tell someone he or she is mind controlled, but that's very individual and unique. Hello, Spondev, welcome. What is the AI doing inside the black suits? Connect to the beast computer, and as well connect to the hidden capstone elite. And the 300 plus also have a say in that. And part of these 300 plus, I talked about it, I know them as 300 plus. And there always have to be 300 plus. If someone of them dies, then from that line of bloodline of which they were, then the firstborn boy will become the next one. And these 300 plus are, they have certain mechanisms and codings for how the AI works and is being constructed. And if they should ever talk about the specifics of these AI and where the basic codings are for that, then they are immediately exterminated, I mean. Spondev, do you even come from Earth? Well, that's a good question. I let it open for now. Well, do we all come from Earth? Do you believe in the Big Bang? I don't. But that's my opinion, and it's a great talk. It's a great subject as well, because so the whole DNA there is a lot of DNA, what they call dump DNA. That's not true. DNA is a miracle, and what I believe of God, the Creator, and it's totally perfectionism. But there has been scrambled with, next to certain changes in time travel and so on. And another example is the many maps of Earth. I believe this is part of the confusion. Is Earth flat? Is Earth round? Is it a bit like broader to the outside? You know, there are several people who experience Earth really sincere from their own perspective. And I believe it is a certain residue of that the history timeline has been slightly changed. And in the Vatican, I was also for my Black Ops there also to pick up some attributes or devices. I even did not talk about the devices there, and many maps of Earth. And I believe that these maps as well are therefore creating certain versions of maps. And that's very interesting. I saw a map in which Earth was like a pancake, like seven layers of pancake, like a pancake layer of 7. And I myself was in inner Earth, and I know that giants exist. I know that it sounds maybe ridiculous, but it does exist. And inner Earth has its own source, which brings light and like a sun. But it is not like the sun. It's a different energy source. And Atlantis, by the way, could find a way to almost replicate that source, and because that was destroyed, because there were people who went into the black stuff and so on, and a lot of things happened with humanity that they were involved or starting to involve with black magic, Satan, Lucifer, Pluto as well, Pluto planet as well. Well, and now I maybe am going a bit away from the subject, but it's still about, of course, AI and alien things. Truthiness. We are all extraterrestrials. Yes, yeah, we are all a mixture, but the creativity, the beautiful being of the godly creativity, a lot of beings are so looking up to humanity, because we have the special uniqueness of, for example, our voice, singing, the creativity of singing, making music that is really unique in the universe. And that is also what I heard of other species. Another thing is the grace. I will touch upon that as well, because in the underground cities, we came upon as well, me as part also with my Delta team, that I came across some gray types, beings, and also some kind of octopus-like beings who could walk straight up. I know it sounds weird, and they were very tiny, very evil, and so everything is not what is being shown. Like Earth is also bigger. For sure, there is more land. There is more land to harvest crops, and there are many things which are disformed. But to come back to these gray type, for example, I talked to gray types who were longing. They had in their collective memory, in their brains, still a part which had memories of once having been more in contact with feeling, and even with producing themselves, like we do with sexuality, with man and woman, with the egg and the seed. And these greys have in a certain collective longing to have a family life. And this is why, by the way, some gray types, gray species, abduct people from Earth, because they want to get that reproduction again in their system. So the God's creativity is so strong, is so not to be destroyed, that even these greys who have lost most of them also the consciousness, many of them are so cold. Some of them are neutral, but I met so many who just wanted to grab our essence as well, but specifically how they can retrieve their collective memory again of they crave somehow to have children and reproduce again sexuality. So sexuality, that's my opinion, sexuality is as well an important source to be human and to be it's part of the godly creation as well. And everything, when it's out of balance, of course, when it's out of proportion, it can go into negativity. But that counts for everything, isn't it? So, but it is a very interesting subject as well. Spondev, could you tell a bit about your view on the Big Bang and start of life? Yeah, I can talk about it maybe after the break when we have time left. But I don't feel a bit like withheld from talking about it because I talked already, by the way, about it. Past 2006, I did some lectures and I did group sessions. Even in Austria, I went in combined with Fastenwoche, with fasting, and then I received back the fasting week, and then I did some meditations, and I did lectures on that. So maybe even a separate live stream, but help me remind about it that I will talk about it. And it is, I did see that, yeah. I witnessed it. Dragonsdean, can you show any physical evidence of anything about stories you are telling right now? No. 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 Me. I'm the evidence. How can I do live streams for 1 year and a half, twice a week, even more, about talking still about this subject and about my experiences? That is impossible. And anyone can, even people who might maybe recognize me from earlier years, they will all say you were gone from 2000 or 2010 specifically. So that is my proof. I stayed inside for 10 years voluntarily to deprogramming. Who can do that? That's my only proof. And the people who feel like family to me, who know I'm talking about the truth, I will always keep their privacy. And that's that circle I bump into, that visual circle, but I will never ever reveal them, never, because their lives are at stake. So, and there is proof, and I'm calling up for everyone who recognizes me. I asked that in many live streams as well. What would happen if someone, even from the programmed world, and then of course with consciousness, who is now healed and healing, would recognize me? And people know me, but they will not say that. And again, people who know me, I will keep their privacy and I will never ever reveal that. So I'm in a circle of a forever circle, but I am not going to withhold myself from not talking about what I experienced. So, see it as good to hear the stories. Maybe it will reflect. And I'm not saying, by the way, I talk about it a lot. Like I talk what I experienced, and I truly feel that is the most sincere way. I am not investigating other MK Ultras for years. I have not read anything. I also cannot rewatch, by the way, victims or survivors from, for example, also sexual abuse. I see too much hurt in their eyes, and it's too much mirroring what I experienced as well, like the satanic awful abuse. By the way, I have a scarring left by the programmers. Every important high-level mind control slave has a scarring. And I know that spot, but I will and cannot show that. And that's shown by UV lights. And I just can't. That goes too far for me to show that. So, just interested in the subject. Well, you're welcome, of course. Everyone is welcome. And this is a respectful community in the chat here and on all my other channels. And I love hearing, seeing other opinions, if it's done in respect, and respect for me and respect for yourself, of course. Have self-respect as well. That's important too. So, so to come back to these underground cities, so I was talking about that this army of which I was part of, and by the way, I had my Delta team, and my Delta team, I was with a max of 5 or 4. And I know Delta is for max of 4, but I was sometimes also in total with the 5 of us, and many times also with the 4 of us. My Delta teams did change a few times, and I was their commander. And I was brought up already when I was very little to become part of this secret army and doing these black ops. And the suit I was taught to wear the suit with AI in it, like it was my second skin. And I recall that even little personalities of who were that young, because that's how mind control works. MK Ultra is that I come across personalities in me still, in the military section in me, of all ages, and they stop just aging. So, for example, when I was very little, of 5, 6 years old, and I had to do a mission with my other Delta team, which were also as well 5, 6, 7 at the most years old, then that was all, for example, one mission, and then that stopped. So I stopped growing, and then my personality was sealed with electroshocks and other traumatic, horrific tortures. And on top of that, over that was done sexual abuse and group orgies, of which I was raped, and so on. And even sometimes layers around that were built up with satanic rituals as well, of which is then a perfectly concealed, again, babushka puppet-like system, or like an onion, layer after layer after layer. So, and that is done, as you can imagine, to never ever unpeel, to never ever peel off all these layers, not even come to the source. And I myself am extremely grateful that I have my core. I have that confirmed from some people who are clairvoyant, but also know me, and they feel it. They see it. I did free my core, and that is the good. That is the good, very good news, of course. And so to come back to again that AI, and I talked about that organism. Well, that secret black army, they knew via that suit, and that's what I try to explain. Like AI, I've seen many years ago already that there are certain harnesses had to support, for example, in airports, in the airplane hangars, where they check all these bolts and so on, that they are well adjusted to the plane, because that's very important, and they have to check them. Another team is then checking the bolts for it's very specific work and very hard, incredible, intense work to do that as profession, and that there are harnesses which hold these arms up to be able to, for example, work underneath the plane to check these bolts if they were adjusted well enough, and other things, of course, these tiny things to put a plane together and to do these safe flights. And now I forgot my train of thought. But when I was little, and that was in early 70s, I already had such a suit which had these AI. And the AI within this suit was like what you see with, I hope I pronounce it well, the RFID chip. Or these stickers you see in clothing. When I saw that appear in society many years ago, when they started to what many think is also the number of 666, what is also the case, the barcode coding. But you also have these stickers, of which everyone can then detect these, when someone wants to steal a clothing or something. But everything can be tracked with it. So put it out of your clothing. But when I saw that happen in society and in shops and so on, I knew that this is the beginning. So then already, when I was mid-70s, then there was already this refinement of AI. So everything is at least 16 years ahead. That is really the truth. 16 years ahead of technology and the alien technology as well. And the Greys have a lot of actual, also a lot of active part in that. I have to check. Um, all right, thanks, Barry. Oh, that's weird. That is very weird. Just checking, dear people. That is indeed strange. Well, I don't know the solution, Barry, for that. And I also don't see you in the list. No. That is strange. So I apologize, dear people. Barry Henderson is, as you know, also the moderator here. And yeah, I guess you did the refresh. Yeah, of course you did the refresh. I mean, he's the big tech man as well. So um, that is very strange, Barry. I don't get it. I will also put off the pling, by the way. Apologies, everyone. Um, oh, that's extremely weird. In the chat, no one typed back. That is. Well, I never had that before. Never had that before. You might not have that ever before too, Barry. But you do see the mod version. That is very well. Okay, I will continue, Barry. But thanks. I know that you're there, so thank you so much for also messaging me. Okay. Maybe in the break we can have further communication about it. And I check again the list. No, I don't see you at all, indeed. So I will refresh. And then I will continue the story, dear people. That happens in the live stream. And I am more and more like my former programmers, for example. One of them is only alive, and the other one has put a notebook with all the codings to her daughter. So yeah, I know I'm very aware of the more I talk, the longer I talk, the more audience I get for my talks. Yeah, that I can be disturbed, but I don't want to put it all on disturbance, you know. But it is very coincidental that this now happens with Barry. A drift between the moderator and the Twitch chat. It's very strange. Okay, so I will continue. All right, I see something. Spondev, what can we expect from AI in the coming years? Good question. Dragons Dean, ever thought about writing a book, or are you avoiding any kind of major exposure? No, we talked about it. Funny that you mentioned it. I talked about it in the beginning of this live stream. I really wanna. Yeah, I'm not a writer, but I thought maybe documentary or a movie. Yeah, yeah. I must say, or even musical, but I have that idea already for quite some time. But it's funny that you again make that. Yeah, Danny. Oh, I'm totally enthusiastic about it. It's one of my. It's one of my heart wishes. Okay, let me see. Danny, Jolly, we should have a talk. Yeah, but we're going to, huh? We're going to, huh? We make an appointment, Danny, for sure. Dragon's Dean, why the ban? I don't know. It Stream Elements is as well, but as I said, I had also last Saturday Dana Durnford in my live stream, and he is being attacked a lot. Other live streamers don't invite him because they are scared of that their channel will be put away or being withheld from growing, etc. And I just chose he needs a voice, so that could be the case. But I didn't ban you, or yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I will go to the mod version as well to try out what is going on. James Lucid, thank you so much for having Dana on. Yeah, he should have a voice. Yeah, he should have a voice. And nuclear energy is dangerous. That is dangerous. I've seen it from a close. Not too close, because then of course it would be too dangerous. You know what I mean. But I've seen the effects. And also off planet, by the way, the beings. But that's another. Yes, I can see you here, Barry. Demonstrations, protests worldwide. For anyone who doesn't know, that's also Barry Henderson. And he's also moderated there on multi-platforms, by the way, multitasking. So yeah, I do see you there, Barry. And on Twitch, someone has been banned. And again, if you hear me, new follower, I did not ban you. It was stream elements. So, Dragon's Dean, I apologize for that. Yeah, it's only Twitch, indeed. And there's someone being banned on Twitch, which I did not do. So, oh gosh. Well, I hope you stay with me, dear people, because I have lots to talk about. And it's already, oh, time flies. It's already 10 to 9. So stay, please. Don't go away. I will be continuing. Truthiness. Scroll up for my message. I will. Truthiness. Up. Now I see the arrow earlier. Why witness statements are evidence in a court of law. Witness statements are evidence in a court of law. Thank you so much, Truthiness. That is beautifully said. And that was, I guess, for the question of do I have proof? Witness statements are evidence in a court of law. Yeah. And to come back to that, I would love to, it's not the right expression, but love to join hands with someone from the programmed world who recognizes me. But doesn't want to do evil to me, because I'm not allowing that, never. But yeah. And then the world will just see, but that still people will not believe me, I'm sure. So, Dragon's Dean, I apologize. I will. I will look at it in the break. And it is now 10 to 9, but I will continue still. You maybe can try go to YouTube, Dragon's Dean, maybe there, but I don't know why you got the timeout. Again, I don't know. Oh, I wanted to go to the mod view. Maybe it is good to have now that short break. We do then 5 to 8 minutes, only a short break. Then sure, I won't leave that easy now. Yeah, Dragon's Dean, I know what it is. I know what it is to being muted or being banned. I mean, sometimes Viva Vivaldi browser. Good evening, Monique and all there. Hey, Barry. Yeah. Jos. Hey, Jos on Facebook. Welcome. Your aura is still growing and so is your spirit. Yes, I do feel that. It works. Oh, finally. Well, Barry. Oh, man. Okay, so a Dragon's Dean has been timed out 10 times, I believe, by Stream Elements, Barry. But yeah, it's weird. Sometimes Stream Elements does that. So we're in a break, by the way. Then I also can grab myself fresh tea. And welcome again, everyone. Also on Trovo, by the way. And yeah, I'm too busy with talk. I'm very honest. The talk about MK Ultra and to stay on the red thread with the D, to talk about my deprogramming and my past. I really need to focus on that. So I apologize also for the extra work for the moderators and Barry and other moderators who maybe are there. I'm so sorry for that, but I have to focus on talking about it, and I cannot just go in between on Trovo and on Rumble. But if you have questions, please put it in the chat, and then I will go also in this break, if I have time left, to go to Rumble and Trovo. And Facebook, of course, and YouTube, and multi-streaming. Oh my gosh. So we're in a break. I will get the break streamer. Well, I cannot find the other one, so that happens, of course. Huh. Well, a live stream, that's a live stream. Things happen spontaneous. So that's just the case. That's real life, I believe. Okay, do we have this one? No, I don't see that one. Okay. Yeah, that's weird, huh, Barry? Can you undo it? Is that possible? Yeah. So again, Dragonsdean, you did not do anything wrong, to be clear. Stream elements talking about AI. Maybe the beast computer is also, because that's what I wanted to say. That's what I will continue. The beast computer and connected to the AI and the secret army and the underground cities. And there is a difference in underground cities, of which I was with the secret army. And there are also underground cities of which whole families live there. And generation after generation, and they never came to the surface. So I will talk about it after the break. And I'm still finding the short break banner, and somehow it does not go on top of it. Yes, now it is a short break. So I will continue a bit, in a few minutes. I will get my tea, and then I'll be back. One and one to troll. So, Dragonsdean, you're being seen as a troll. Well, you are definitely not to me and to us, the moderators. So, yeah, it's weird. Yeah. But yeah, AI, yeah? AI. Maybe some grays are influencing with the stream elements AI. Let's all make a joke now and then, about AI. And I will answer the question about how I will see AI in the future, by the way. I will come back to that. So. And put your questions all in the chat also later on if you really want to have me see the question. Okay, I will finally refresh my tea. And as well will grab I will play some music. Yes, what a beautiful weather today. Oh yeah, here in the Netherlands, but a cold wind. I find it very interesting. Cold wind. Still, for a while now. I will grab my tea before I am not having my tea within the time of the break. I'll be back. a bit of atmosphere. I like that, playing with lighting. I'm a light woman. Cosmic light woman. That's what I say sometimes here. Okay, tea. Did you ever get to ride on the maglev? Oh, that is a great question. Oh man, that has got to do with a certain man in Russia who is now the president there. Yeah. Oh, there are now so many questions. There have been so many questions and subjects I like to touch upon that I really have to make a choice. So I think I will continue my story and grab myself some honey. Yeah, and to come back to Phil Schneider. Do you know Phil Schneider? Oops, excuse me. I apologize. It always happens. It always happens to me. Why? Oh, why? Well, I'm perfect in my imperfectionism. That's life. Oh man, I'm blushing because of it. So, well, to come back to this Phil Schneider I was talking about, he was witness of having been drilling these underground cities as well. Not only these cities, but, and there's a lot more coverage and media released about it. And I will put off the short break English, as otherwise it's too distracting. So, there are certain types of underground cities, of which I was in were some model cities. In Scandinavia, by the way, there is a giant city. It's impressive. I talked about it earlier. There is also some connection to Iceland, by the way. Iceland has an incredible, strong, what is it? A powerful light source, which even the deep state could not grasp yet. And that is there is an incredible power of what I call the creativity and God's, the creator. But and that city, there are model cities as well. And these model cities are for putting their families. Some of them are forced, but many are there voluntarily, by the way. And these families have been living there for generations already, and everything is there. And not only buildings, only like a house of which for two stories high houses, for example. No, really also kind of skyscrapers. You have really to imagine that kind of space. So underneath the soil and the earth's crust, these layers are so deep, and that is maybe also again a science fiction story. But the amazing underground cities are so big. Everything is there. Malls, like giant shopping centers, skyscrapers, apartment buildings, a lot of military bases for the parts of which I was in and with. So my where I was specifically connected to military bases, because we were restricted from being in contact with the civilians who were living there, unless we had to do a black operation also in these cities. there is so much to talk about cities. Some of the early cities which were built, like for example that one in Scandinavia, and somehow the fjords in Scandinavia are connected to that to also create even energy sources next to other energy sources, which has not been released into the world as well. And one of these energy sources is also like the steam coming from below the surface of Earth. Thermo technology. Well, I'm not a scientist, so maybe someone else knows what I'm talking about. And some of the earlier cities have parts of which looked like more abandoned. They're still trying to. Well, I'm now out of it, of course, for 10 years. But the deep state, what occurred to me was that a lot of these parts of these cities which were not any longer used, that they were not rebuilt or were, for example, being destroyed because of all the dust, and it was too complicated what they told me. But I'm still curious why they did not do that. Maybe some other MK Ultra or maybe someone else who was living there will come to the surface and maybe even recognize some stories what I talk about. So that was what occurred to me. And in the cities who were specifically for civilians, they were there also. And the civilian cities as well had malls, had shopping centers, had their own grocery stores, and so on. And generations after generations lived there. And some of them voluntarily, and others were being and still are being kidnapped. There is someone who is reporting about missing persons. Missing persons are not only missing because, for example, that they are being caught by other creatures, because like Bigfoot and so on, they do exist. There are many other creatures who are, by the way, as well disformed by a lot of experiments, who got to run free. But it is very, very diverse, and that's why it is such a also complex subject. So I hope I managed to talk about it all before the 10:30 max time I have. Until then, I have the time to talk about it even a bit earlier. So I will make the choice to talk about where I was with the deep state, the secret army, and I talked about these AI suits, which feel like a glove, wearing a glove. What I still recall is, because I had also that glove, which was AI, and it was my right hand, by the way, which was connected then to that AI organic mixture. The other of the secret army did not have that. I had a section, and my section was when I was in the military bases and I had to go with my team, or some of other teams where I was commander of, and then I had to go, for example, off planet. But when I was in the military base, there was one type of symbol I had to follow, and it was a triangle. And a triangle in very bright yellow with a bit of a shine of green. And that was for me the symbol of follow that, and that's the only thing you have to focus on. And that was the part in which I was connected to that AI organism. And the other one of the secret deep state army, and then I touch upon my son James, or Jamie in other words, he never saw the surface of on Earth. He was only doing active duty below Earth, and the sad thing is that he has programming put in him. And I'm very much aware of it, that he is programmed to, that's what has been told. But I was present with the torture and the program that he was programmed, to exterminate me. When he gets the order. So I am very much aware of what I'm doing, by the way, and I take full responsibility for what I chose to do and to do my story. But it is, I know that, for example, also by doing these live streams, for now at least, it's free. The world is still free enough, that the internet is still free enough, and that it can, copy, my live streams are all rewatchable on several simultaneous channels. That is also the reason why I do that. Then there is a testimony there, and in the energy, it does something for real. But my son Jamie, or James, he never saw the sunlight, and that is something else. What touches these generations, also for families who live underground and these children. When I was in the Black Ops in one of these cities where I was in the neighborhoods of these civilians and these families, their whole bodies were pale, and it was like their skeleton were also becoming more and more refined, but at the same time also rougher. So, for example, a difference is when someone lives underground. What I've seen is that, for example, the collarbones and the shoulders were more broadened, and the rest was more refined or more slimmer, and it was and as well that the legs were gotten shorter. And the programmers of which I worked for also did research on that. How do people evolve and react on living in underground cities for so long and with artificial light and so on? And that is what I've witnessed. And it is it was a bizarre sight as well, but I find it very logic that the upper body got more stronger and the legs shorter. And somehow, on feeling level, I understand that. But maybe someone else has their own thoughts on it. I would love to know, and because I'm totally, I love your questions and your replies and your comments. So maybe someone is a scientist. Or maybe can explain it, because that is what I encounter when I do these live streams. Like of the ones I did read about who were former MK Ultra, which were so I can count them even now less than one hand, the fingers of a hand, and that they all had so many knowledge and so many terms, science terms and terminology and so on. And I talk from my experience. And that's maybe the difference with others. Maybe you watched or saw on live streams or talks. I do talk from experience. What I experienced in the physical, what I witnessed and what I saw. Yeah, maybe that's also a strength. And I don't mention any names, by the way, for everyone who's new. That has a reason, because then I feel more safe to talk about it. And many of the things I describe, that you can maybe have an idea of who I'm talking about, but for me it's a safety measure, because I never pronounce who it is or who it was, and I feel that is also kind of a protection, because I never mention a name. So that is for my safety. And was there a question, by the way? Okay. James Lucid. Welcome. Never heard anyone talk before that have... Oh, I mentioned that. Did you ever get to write on the maglev? Oh, yeah. Jules, what I have... Because otherwise I'm belated with the chat. And I will go through the chat first before I continue. Tineke Jesse, you see a lot of missing persons daily. Yeah, and also scientists disappear. Not always is, for example, what you see like a scientist disappeared through Bigfoot or some else creature. A lot of times it is that it's being pulled down to the underground cities. That's what I wanted to say. I've seen a lot of scientists who were forced there to live. Even some of them who had to let go of their family, and they were put in a tiny device also on their right behind their collarbone and or right underneath it, and then there was some AI, but also a kind of poison and an antidote as well. It's very small, it's very minuscule, and they were threatened, like if they would ever want to talk, they would ever want to flee, then they would end their life or get a heart attack. And worse, many of them are being threatened that the family will be killed or being harmed. And I myself had to undergo that as well. And that is also the reason why many MK Ultras are forced to have children, and as well have children with many of. Well, I was just, yeah. They called me a high-leveled MK Ultra, but that's not because I'm proud of it. It was just the case. I was with presidents of the USA specifically, but also Netherlands, a few, also Germany, and as I said, the nowadays president of Russia. I knew him as well when he was younger. Now I lost my train of thought again. There we go again. That sometimes happens, and I'm so enthusiastic in my talk, and then I forget what I wanted to say. But yeah, that is. It is the way. It is the way it is, as I say often. But yeah. But it's a sad thing, that people are being threatened that their family would be pulled away from them. And oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That is the reason why many MK Ultras also remember and recall that they were fertilized and used for getting children. And also many of them, by the way, didn't have children. I had my children who were born out of me were a couple, but the majority of them were pre-birth and very too little to even. Sometimes I even did not see any shape. Then you have an idea of what has been done to me. But some of them were kept alive, and others with, also certain people and you see in the world still nowadays. And this is why I'm no longer angry, but I'm healthy angry. This is why this needs to stop. Because too many people are leading the world still, and I don't get that. I get it, but I don't get it. So that's why I decided I will do my story and will talk about my vision and my mission, despite that I will drop upon many, many resistance and disbelief, and I have no proof. And the proof which is there that I am who I am, I cannot show, because that's being safeguarded by some people. And that even has been spread along people, because that's all safety measures. Yeah. It's so hard to explain if you are not involved with such thing like that, but it's more visible nowadays what is really going on, all these tactics. It's also good that the dirt is now showing more and more. And I'm sad for every victim and everyone who's victim to that. But it should stop. All right. Welcome then in. Yeah, oh, thank you so much, Trovo. Hello, dear people on Trovo. I honor you all, and I'm so concentrating on my story that I cannot click all these tab windows here on my screen. But thank you for joining and watching. I hope you will stay and that you also will subscribe to my channel and maybe even to my other channels to support my story and to grow and that the more and broaden the channels are being supported by you all, it would be amazing, and it would mean the world to me that my story gets out and what I experienced. Grafus, wow, thank you so much. I hope ZW Grafus, wow, thank you so much. So I'm so grateful. I almost wanted to say what I do a lot lately, like ka-ching, special move for you. But it's a serious subject as well. But many know here already who know me, like I love balancing it out with humor, because that's why I survived humor and meeting people in the front life who had humor, of which taught me as well humor and be integer. Those two things I learned from many beautiful people who were, by the way, also partially caught in MK Ultra or mind control or being blackmailed, and many of them as well in Hollywood and the music industry, and will love them forever for teaching me that that is basic values on. But thank you so much on Trovo. I will check on Trovo now. Wow, thank you so much. Hello, Trovo, dear people. Welcome here. I see. I will put for me the quality down, because I hope I'm not now echoing. Thank you so much for being here, and greetings to you all, and Rumble. Wow. What all for everyone else who doesn't know Trovo? Trovo, yeah, for someone who likes gaming and also to do something with treasure boxes and animation. And I have emotes on Trovo, with some of my my also my funny own blooper moments. So that's great, but you can there open treasure boxes and earn points and so on. For who likes that, you can see me on Trovo as well. And as well, yeah, I cannot see Rumble, but thank you, Rumble, as well for being there. I cannot see you in the chat. No echo here? Alrighty. Hello, Leander Barch. Oh, you have such beautiful words. I wish I could translate it in English. Thanks for your sincere soul in word and truth. Hearts. Oh man, that is amazing. And I received right before I went live, by the way, I received an amazing present. I should not say that, but it is. I receive so much that is. I have no words for that, so. Okay, so to come back to these underground cities and my son James. James, the exact age, I had so many children that can be confusing for when you hear an MK Ultra or former or survivor talk. Like, for example, have problems with aging of the children, because I am still trying to recover and uncover more parts in my military system. And therefore, there is a certain vagueness in catching up with the here and now. So when I talk about my son James, then I only can. Then my initial thought is to talk about him when I was shown the last picture of him, and that was shown by a certain president of the USA in 2010. And he threatened me with showing pictures of my children, of which James was one of them. And then it freezes in time, if you get me, if you understand me. Like if you're a mother and you're hurt and your children are being threatened to be killed. But as I have so many children being also lost and still are alive, but I cannot be with them. So I live literally here alone to do the deprogramming. And it's hard to explain that I can talk about it without maybe becoming emotional, but I can. If I show you now my emotions of my hurt motherhood, then I cry the rest of my life. And my dear friend here did meet me in that I could not stop crying. And if I say that, I start to feel that already. And I wish I could explain how I cannot allow to start crying when I talk about it. So I learned, and that's also the military part of me, that's the male part in me who is opening up more, that I decided to talk about it in a relaxed way, peaceful way, now and then humor, now and then my live stream and background takes care of the bloopers. Barry Henderson knows everything about that. And shout out to Barry Henderson, by the way, on all channels. He is so multitasking again. And amazing that you're here again, Barry. And I have no words for that. But you know that. But so check him out as well. He has also his own channels. And he's also on bio.link/Barry Henderson. So look him up. And I will put later on the shout out and a bio link. But otherwise, I lose my train of thought. So, these underground cities, like, did I meet more of my children in these underground cities? No, only my son James. And he is the only one of which I know that he is part of that secret army. And it is, of course, very sad that I know that he has been programmed to go against me if the programmers give that commands. And why do I say that openly? I don't know exactly. I just feel guided by also protection, of also spiritual protection, and I feel the world is ready maybe to listen to my story and starts to realize. That's why I repeat a lot of these live streams. I do that on purpose and on multi-channels, that in the hopes that people will, even if it's a tiny bit of it, then start to grasp it. And by repeatedly hearing it in a not too loud voice, I hope, not too extreme emotions, that it is more acceptable that it does exist. And specifically the sexual abuse, the trafficking, in my opinion, it's still going on. And as well as the MK Ultras, which is a satanic ritual-based mind control, which is all about abusing children from little on, like I was. And then I have seen other children around me as well being killed in front of my eyes because I did not choose the right choice. And that should be stopped. And that it can only be if I, not only me, but I should say but also other victims and other survivors really are starting to be getting believed without showing all that proof. And proof is feeling. I truly feel that by telling my story so often, that maybe it will enter for some people also who cannot believe my story, but start to realize that it is true. So that is, and Barry, of course, put in the chat already in Dutch how MK Ultra exists, and it is proven. So even in FBI files and CIA files and so on. And a lot of them has been destroyed, by the way. So, and that's also been confirmed that within the CIA, whole documents are being destroyed. So there was even more documentation. And that's all officially being acknowledged. Jos, what I have seen in the vision, the earth and humanity will become a beautiful and equal world, but it will have a considerable natural element for it. And I like to keep that to myself. Yeah, that's a good, that's, of course, Jos, I understand that, and that's very important. Follow what feels right. Leander Bartsch. I wish you all could read the Dutch. Thank you so much for your sweet words. Thank you so much. Bless you. So, these underground cities, I start to become a bit shy. But I came from 3 little personalities today who are now integrating. So they see and hear your comments as well. So that is healing by talking about. And I would also say to others who are MK Ultra or have satanic ritual abuse as background and are silent, only if it fits, of course, and if you can cope with it. But I do hope and pray that you have at least someone you can talk with about what you experience, because talk about it, voice it, or even record it for yourself. That helped me and still helps me. When I am, these are the moments you don't see, but when I cry, when I let my emotions go, or for example, Dana Durnford was my guest last Saturday evening, and I had, until today, I needed time and energy to really rest, but I had also nights, last night for example, that I could not sleep, and then it was like I was choking. So those things I don't share all the time, but those are still residues and remains of the programming, and that an intensity of and so much enjoying that I use my voice, but I still have my deprogramming reaction, also physically. I was today like, also when I was walking, I had such a bloated belly. And that is for someone who comes from anorexia and always having been thin and very, I was always very thin and, how you say that, tiny physique. That's hard to deal with. So, Tommy Temper, hello, Tommy Temper. Tommy Temper, people look him up the channel as well. It is so great. A Canadian and very great channel as well. And yeah, it was so, it was so incredible, Tommy, that I could promote my channel. That is amazing. So people look up his channel, subscribe, and that counts for many others, by the way, who follow me, subscribe me, support me. Another dear people is of the app Skyglass, and it is amazing, these wonderful people, and I'm still trying to one day go live streaming with the aviation app of Skyglass of avrlabs.com, and it is, I need to say that it is amazing how kind-hearted people there are. They are. That's also this world of today. And yeah, I love you guys. Just and women. Yeah, indeed, Tommy. Put your link, please. Put it down in the chat, and it's on screen. So, I will get back to the deep ground undercity in the secret army, as well as I talked about the AI suits, the people who are in the secret deep state army. That's maybe also an interesting subject. These are overall from the military part of the bloodlines, and I hate the word bloodlines, but they think that they are a certain elite. There is a lot to say about the bloodlines. Babylonia has a very important origin of it. There is a lot of mixture going on with the Vatican. I talk a lot about that the Vatican is a center of evil. The white and black pope, and I'm sorry if I offend people from religions. That is not my purpose. It is when it's done with righteous way. I came across such beautiful religions like Sufis, like Islam. I love the expressions inshallah and Allah. There is the word law in it. You know, it is the energy, it's the positive vibes. But the people who are now and for too long running the Vatican, they are truly evil people. They serve Satan and Lucifer, and they have a great potential threat, literally, for humanity if they can keep open portals. And I talked about that earlier. It is about if we can decrease the portals to let the Satan and Lucifer and the demons in our Earth's lair, then we can truly conquer by that the love will conquer and that the love will grow and that it will overcome and that it will be the threshold that we can live in a transparent way and live together as humanity together with the beautiful cultures and religions. And so the Vatican is an extremely, see the Vatican as a kind of transformer. And that is, by the way, as well why underneath the Vatican, these catacombs and these extra rooms and bases, connection to also the bases, of which have many tube lines towards certain underground cities, where black armies are. That's also another subject. What I wanted to touch upon is sleeping armies. Sleeping black secret armies are the armies which are underneath, living also in the underground cities, but the AI suits keep them in low energy. So they get a kind of state, like, for example, my programmers, they experimented also on me and others, about what it would be if the soul would be totally out of the body. And they worked with also elements of like freezing methods, all kinds of methods with crystal liquid, of which I was also, sadly enough, also being tortured on and experimented on. And that is sleeping army, and they have these same black AI suits, and they are literally sleeping. They are kept in a kind of sleep narcosis. And if they are being activated, and this is why I was in 2022 such in a panic mode and trying to warn, like, now I have nothing to lose. And I released a drawing of that red wave from east to west, that would be a threat to create a martial law worldwide. And that was right when it happened with the whole COVID demic, you know what I mean? Yeah, with the toss, I cannot mention that. That's a very vulnerable subject for the TOS. And so I tried to warn, and that was red wave from east to west. That was the coding, and that it would like tentacle go to the west and solve the whole world into a red energy coding. And I was really scared of that it would be a worldwide martial law. But fortunately, I do feel that love and God and the Creator's energy, and together with saying no to evil, that we can conquer and overcome this and go into the positive. I have no doubt about it. But that's what I wanted to say. Like, I'm a positive woman, always was, despite that I was a very scary little scared girl. And growing up, I was very shy. And when I was a conductor later on, I was more out into the world with the laughing and so on. But I was very timid, and I was really that wallflower. But I always felt like we have to stay positive and laugh. And laughing, as I said, it was my way of also surviving. And but I do know that it is needed. I truly feel that, to also know the evil and know that there are demons. But the power is to no longer be scared of it. And I remember when in the first years when I tried to still talk about it to my friends and other people, only details about my MK Ultra and about the demon worlds and that there is true evil, people just got into resistance and just had a wall around them. And some of them left me, and others just told me honest, like, Monique, we feel you're right, but we cannot deal with it. But I feel the power is to acknowledge that there is evil, but don't be afraid of it. That is the power, not being afraid of evil, but knowing and wanting to know that there is a shadow world, wanting to know that there is evil, wanting to know that there are demons, because they do exist. And they are there, and as well as there are benevolent aliens, and there are evil aliens. And there are also neutral beings. I talked about it also in earlier live streams, but it is about not being afraid, never being afraid, and to get rid of, and that is the power to get rid of the evil. This is why Satan cannot also grab me. This house is totally safe here, because I know that he will meet the love and the unconditional love and not being afraid. And that is why I feel protected by doing my story. So there is a lot what you can do, but I really want to ask, please try to listen to people like I. I am not the only survivor. I know there are many more. And many, many more. I actually wanted to already earlier years come forward in public, but I could not. I also had a love of my life, which I had to deal with, and with certain things which are changed, and my own private life, and so on. And deprogramming took longer than I initially thought would be. So I also come across my own confrontations, and that things did not work out what I had planned. But that is the godly plan, that's the godly mission. I do believe that and feel that mission is just guiding me in that things will happen in the right moment and the right way. And that is also not be afraid that there are the fact that there are beings. Don't be afraid. That's the power. So that's my pep talk, my rant. And again, thank you so much also on Trovo. Is Trovo also showing chat on screen? Yeah, you see the on-screen chat, and I will now, by the way, try to get that as well. But we're, of course, heading for... But I still can do that. Let me see if I can work it out. I will try to get it on screen of Trovo. Wait. Now I have to turn... Well, it's a break of a few minutes again. That's okay. I can take a zip. Oh man, I can make it loose. Yeah, that will be a thing to... Maybe I can do that. Wait. One moment. Because on Trovo are so many people as well supporting also the channel and subscribing, so I really want to honor them. So I hope it's okay that I do some effort in getting the screen on screen. The chat on screen of Trovo. But maybe it takes too long. Oh man. Yeah, it doesn't take it. Okay. It's not... No. No. Or it is. Wait. It is. Well, then you can grab a little snack or something else. And then I put it at chat. And next time I will put it on as well. That also Trovo can be shown. Ta-da! Trovo chat. Here it is. One moment. Don't go away, dear people. I will. Okay. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, then I immediately... That's, by the way, a remain of my slave behavior. Here in the house where I do the deprogramming, they know me. And they always say, that's pleaser. But I also want to, you know. I want to act immediately. And that's a blessing. But not always. But I did manage it, so I did manage it. So I don't know where that tune came from, but okay. So now I have here this. So, but then I will continue. Yeah. So, all right. Now Trovo Chat is on it as well. Now we will do a bit of the top and then I let go. Okay. Well, it's a bit amateuristic, but it is been done. So I did it. Jos, I also see a lot and also get images for the future, but cannot always speak freely about it. And I have never had to do with MK Ultra myself, but I have seen at a fairly young age that it was there. Yeah, that's so great, Jos. That's an exception, I think, and that you recognized it as well. But yeah, you can see the chat. There are people on Trover because I honor you as well, and on Rumble. Yeah, I cannot show the chat because I don't see the chat. I don't see myself live on Rumble. And I understood I am live on Rumble. And then he says, testing, testing. Yeah, Danny. Oh, yeah, well. And it's amazing that you all are here. I mean, yeah, that was always my wish, you know. So, cheers. To continue my story about these, you know, all the Chinese statues, I think, of one dynasty, of the Chinese dynasty, that there has been dug up that giant army of statues. It is a bit that was the idea behind it by all the religions, like that army would come alive. That was actually related to a certain belief system, but that's only a side thread. So the sleeping army, when it should be awoken, and this beast computer, to come back to the beast computer, every MK Ultra like I also had a beast computer. My inner beast computer, I freed already in between when it was the heaviest flashbacks and heaviest deprogramming between 2011 and 2014, 15. And there I met and came across my beast computer inner system, and that was surrounded with evil one-eyed, there again the one-eye symbol. Well, this one-eye symbol has a very important a connection to as well the high commander of what I told what was off planet in the universe, and he is a supreme commander of the reptilians and reptoids, and he is very evil, and I cannot pronounce his name because otherwise he steers into a demon army towards me, and I'm not waiting for that, although I feel protected. But that is connected to the beast computer. And when that beast computer, when my inner beast computer would, when I would do, for example, the story now, and my inner beast computer would not have been freed, I would not even be capable of talking about it. But that beast computer is connected to the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye is part of also the Freemasonry. As well, and well, you know the all-seeing eye, but the all-seeing eye is not only evil. That is what I really want to express. For some cultures or religions, it's even protection, like the eye can see all. We all can see through that eye, and that is also the third eye, the inner eye, the inner vision. We can open that, and the Freemasonry, for example, and the deep state don't want to unravel the mystery of that all-seeing eye. And that is, for me, actually also the connected to the portal to the Creator, to God. When I was in and with God, God was for me not a person, by the way. I did never see a person or a being. It was light, and that light talked with me, and I knew it was God. I felt it was God, because everything was one. everything was connected and everyone was connected. And only the first time when I was in and with God, he showed me that is the secret about also that all-seeing eye. We are all that as well. And if that all-seeing eye in us is opened up and has its original, then we don't need the physical body any longer. So it's actually the third eye is actually, I also feel it now, it aches. So I touch upon a secret which I cannot tell. Many things and symbolism are and positive and negatively put in the world, but also done extremely by the deep state and by the evil powers, because to confuse the people, to never find out that, for example, it should be evil, but that it's actually the portal to, for example, the creator, like also the sun is a portal. I will keep state that until I've seen the proof. Otherwise, the sun is a portal. Everything what is a fire, if it looks like a fire, it doesn't mean it's hot, if you know what I mean. And So, what did I mention? That all-seeing eye and the Vatican is connected and to that sleeping army. So if it's activated together with that beast computer, then and with that organic of that AI in that sleeping military army, then that military army will wake up. And they are spread over the world. I cannot say, because I'm now more than 10 years out of the MK Ultra and mind control, maybe this army has been destroyed. Did you, and for example, if people are watching from Canada and the USA, but there are heard around the world like booms. And of very recent, there is in LA, in California, no, not LA, in California, I seem to recall that there were light flashes like explosions and people hear a boom. It could be at daytime or in the middle of the night, and it is a flash of light and then boom. And I recognized it as that there are experiments being done with our environment. So with the molecules, if I say that right, but with the molecules, these things which move in the area. I'm not a scientist, and I bump into that again. Why did I touch upon this subject? That there is being experimented on with these to target. Why do I say that? Because it's all connected, and maybe also the people who are working for the positive maybe are trying to, attack or make these hidden sleep armies harmless. That could be possible, and I'm very honest in that. I'm from 2010 no longer active as Black Ops military. So it is what I know, and that I recognize these booms. Sometimes some people also hear these trumpet sounds, and then it is what is mentioned like in the Bible. Many people experience it as when the trumpets are being when the trumpets are being shown, the horns, then it says of why don't I? Yeah, that's really my inner programming layers, which are now disturbing. I always know that word. I say that a lot, but I always know that word. The end times. But the end times, it does not mean that then it ends the end of the world and the earth. No, that is what we should supposed to think. But these horns, these horn-like shapes, I recognize, but that is me. I recognize it that something hits the shell of Earth, because there are several layers and there are membranes, and some parts of around the Earth are membranes which feel like if you hit. It's a very rough example, but if you hit against it, then you can feel it feels like moisture, like an membrane, and then there is moisture weight. Like for example, with a tent, you have a tent up, and then some rain put on top of it, and it gives weight. And then you put from underneath, you push towards it. Then you feel a bit of resistance. But in space, it's not water. I have to say that specifically. It's not water, but it can that membrane can feel as that it hits water. Water ceiling, yeah. Sputniki rods from God. Yeah, that's another expression. But that it sounds like horns. You can look them up on YouTube. It's very interesting, all these proof what there is. But these boom sounds are of recent. And even the news media are reporting about it. So there are certain things happening on and on Earth, which are very, very interesting indeed. And I try to keep on watching them and rewatching, and then might also help me remember everything. So now you maybe understand why I was in 2022 alarmed because of that red wave from east to west. That I thought, like, this is now happening. Now the deep state elite and now maybe also that black army will come to the surface with reasons of that everyone should stay inside. And when I saw also the symbolism of that even children on school were put in the circles. Even here in the Netherlands, in parks, there were circles drawn and people had to stay in the circles in a park. It is... And that is mind control. That is connecting. It is actually to create a certain curse, an evil, dark curse, of which even children then get involved in, and it will forever have impact on them. And that is so sad. And that's why I say we should say no to evil. And I truly feel that when, as a mass, and we don't need the whole world, because there are people who are not capable of doing this, are maybe ill, are not cannot reach to that point. But it would be, I have that, it's only a dream, it's only a vision. I've seen it in the positive timeline. I've seen it. I have seen it. That people were massive saying no. Maybe that gives hope as well. I hope so. And it is what I think. It's just a vision. I have to say that to protect myself. I hope you understand. It's just a vision. And maybe I'm not right as well. And I hope I do that in the right way, Barry. I'm so driven sometimes by my passion for freedom, and that will happen. And I know it will happen. And maybe even because I say it will happen, and when I say that every time it will happen, that gives energy boost. I know that. I believe in the power of energy and speech. Barry, you're doing great. Thanks, Barry. Yeah, very passionate about it, and I've seen it. I have seen it. And it is also connected to, I know my origin, but I'm not talking about it of the latest live stream. I did open up a bit about who I am and where I came from originally, but I still don't dare to, because my story is already so incredible. And I then see again, like, it needs a 3-part musical or something, or a whole day, maybe a new concept, like join me in a day 3-part movie or a 3-part musical, a theater show. That's not even enough to explain my life. And I do recall that when I was a teenager, that I felt 100+ years old, and I cried every night, and I did not understand why I cried every night. I did not understand when I wake up too early in the morning at 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I had my gym clothing underneath my normal clothing. So I was already in the bed with my clothing for going to school. I never understood it. I found red shoes in a closet of which I did not recall I ever wore them or had them. And I had clothes of which I apparently had worn, and I did not remember. So it is, I lost my train of thought again. Hello, DJ Mindhacker. Good evening, everyone. Unlurk after 2 hours. Unlocked. I almost wanted to read unlocked, but it is lurking. What a weird word, lurking. But I honor also you, everyone who are watching, listening, and because you are here. So, Tineke Jessie, more people have short nights. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there is a lot of disturbance happening. Maybe that's what you mean. Sputniki, manifesting works. Yeah, exactly. And have no fear. That's important. I hope I will also maybe motivate others who think they are MK Ultra or heavily traumatized, or that many of the satanic ritual abuse are coming forward. And don't come out of the fears. Keep working on working with the fears, because I know like no one else what it is to be fearful. I forgot to mention that today when I was doing this walk with my dear friend here, the first thing was that we biked to a certain center of a big city in the Netherlands, and when I stepped on the bike, I felt dizzy. So I have lately in my military part, I forgot to mention that I have dizzy spells, and I'm not panicked about it, because I know it's the deprogramming. It's that the brains are now reattaching with parts of my brains which will never be capable of attaching to each other and computing together, if you know what I mean, to do the computer language. But it was so scary, and then I was cycling through back lane here, and normally it would be no problem, because I know the environment close around me. And then I was so fearful, and I knew, oh boy, that's deprogramming. To come across new personality systems, new programming systems who don't know me, who have no clue about what is cycling. And then I felt at times tiny personalities in me being scared that I was moving on a bike. So they never rode a bike. And that is so hard to explain, that I had in me, and still have some with that military part, who had no clue about life, about what my life was, about what my life is in here and now. And this is the reason, by the way, why they call the programmed world, call MK Ultras like me, full, undetectable, full mind-controlled slave. Because it is undetectable. It's all inside of me what happens. And it is about becoming more conscious about that something is off. That alone is the start of deprogramming. And that counts for also the so-called normal people. Yeah, normal people. How should I say that? Mediocre people who have not started like I had in life with MK Ultra and splitting up personalities. It's the same. Like, do you want to investigate, for example, a pattern in yourself or a relation? Another example is bumping into the same kind of relationship. It's the same thing. Do you want to know why that happens, or do you fall into the same learning experience and so on? I find that a bit harsh, that word, but yeah, it's an interesting life what I have. I said it recent to my dear friend here, like, well, because she was, of course, I can be hard to live with, because my patterns are sometimes not in the here and now, and she knows me. She comes along with me every day, so she knows when my patterns are off. And then we can also laugh about it later on, but she's often about also, of course, like, there is another part in you who does not know this behavior. And then she has to repeat, like, this item is on top of that cupboard, you know that. And then I felt, oh yeah, that's true. It's a hard thing. And then I said to her, well, you know, my life is not boring with me. And then she had to laugh again. So, and then we started to just sit in the sun, drink a wine, and just enjoy with a little snack, a rice cracker and a mice cracker. That's not the right word, but I love these mice. Is that a cracker? I don't know. A cracker is something else, I believe, in English language. But a waffle, a mice waffle. So a tiny bit of how deprogramming life is. It's not easy to live with a mind control or with a deprogramming mind controlled, but it is for sure not boring. So, Yvonne, upgrade of the earth and people. Full moon. Oh yeah, the react. Great of you, Barry, to remind. Yeah, I've never seen it in action. I only saw it one time, I believe. But yeah, it is. You can on Twitch react, and it seems to help get more noticed on the Twitch land, in the Twitch forest. Jos, I go for a smoke. Yeah, you better do, Jos, and enjoy it, eh? Everything what is joyful, do that. Oh gosh, it's already 10:02. Are there questions, by the way? If there are questions until what I've mentioned now, then please put it in the chat. And also on Trovo, you are on screen with the chat. Welcome again. Oh, I did not scroll down. Wow, so many activity there. Hello, everyone there on Trovo. Frem Alarm, Neptituno, and Doxy99. Welcome, and everyone else on Trovo. Thank you so much, and also for the follow and support my channel to grow. That is so great. Yvonne, I did it twice. React. That's so great, Yvonne. Thank you so much. Yeah, I talked about these sleeping armies. I did ask a question. Hey, Danny. What about the expression, there's no good without evil? Well, that is again the polarities, because it is a fact, and I learned it myself by coming across evil, that I could manage to even feel and live good and goodness, but feel. And that is why polarities are there, to grow in respecting the good. But that's maybe too complicated how I explain it. But it has a purpose, good and evil. And this is, by the way, connected to the Creator or God's free will. If any angel or any being what shows itself, maybe to you, not everyone would look forward to that, but if a being shows as an angel or a being and says, you have to do this, and like a command, like really strict and really order you, and you don't feel that unconditional love, that's an alarm sign. So be alert, because angels and beings and even God is being imitated. That God, the Creator, has been imitated, and that was, that can be a demonized light or a demonized atmosphere. Even there are, like the movie Stranger Things, literally there could be behind walls and above the ceilings other worlds, other portals to dimensions, but then you have to really live in a very dark and demonized spot. So don't be afraid, because that's really, then you really hit upon really dark dark history of that spot, which does occasionally happen. There is I believe it was Ghost Hunters. I don't follow that channel, but I saw one episode of them that they had a house of which you see that creature. And I mentioned that because that's how these creatures often look like. They are looking like, for example, charcoal dust, and then they have a shape of a creature or a human-like feature. You can, and I feel also that more and more people are becoming more lighter and more cosmical, and that they free that inner eye, and that they can see more and more also, again, the evil, but I believe that is good. So don't be afraid when you see it. Don't, of course, call it up, but don't be afraid. That's the message I try to give. Like, I'm still doing my talk, and because I am not afraid. And that is a real power, to believe in yourself and feel yourself. Truthiness, I did see that come by. Thank you for repeating. How do you see the Ukraine war playing out? Yeah, I have to be honest, politics and to follow the news about it, but that is because the leader of this country you mentioned and the other leader of Russia, I know. Both knew when they were younger. And it is, yeah, I feel it's a trick. Yeah, I hear a lot of times distraction because there is a lot of people being hurt. But I truly feel, and that's from me as Monique, like, whatever country you are, you try to prevent getting victims or civilians being harmed. And that's what's not, for me, that's not accurate, what does not, it's not right, so that's for me already the sign that something is wrong. But I don't want to use the word distraction, but I know that these two know each other, and that, I knew them. What can I say? I cannot say too much because they're still alive, and there we go again. And I wish I could answer it fully, Truthiness, but I feel also withhold from talking about it because there are well-known people, and I don't know, and I don't only know them. I have met personally in several personalities. I've met from mid-70s to 2010 all coming presidents and all USA presidents, and as well a few in the Netherlands or coming minister presidents. So it is for me, I know my borders, but I want to talk about it. But I do feel when I am crossing borders. I apologize for that, but I feel it's a game. I truly feel it's a game, like a chess game, and I'm sad about that because what is truly happening, people cannot get to it because they're too much in war, put in war. And by the way, a lot of also these disasters like earthquakes and these how you say that? Natural disasters. It is a combination that I also feel Earth a lot of times respond. I also feel Earth now respond. Earth is such a living being, and it should be taken care of. And now, maybe, and as well for the people who missed, maybe last Saturday I had a guest, Dana Durnford, in my live stream. And he has a lot of research of what is happening environmental, and what humanity does to Earth and the environment. Yeah, my heart cries a lot of times for that. Danny Yoli, I totally agree, but doesn't this mean that we cannot deny it or will ever get rid of it? Without this, there cannot be that. It's finally all connected together. That's the complex thing of it, Danny, and I feel what you mean. Not to say the but. If if you're in God, then it all solves. Then there is no polarity. That just is not there. But there is only that unconditional love, and that is what the Creator God wants us to be in and connect to. But that free will is specifically chosen by God because God and the Creator knows then that He will never and can never be attacked. Because there was once a contract that has also got to do with the fallen angel and Lucifer, that there was once a contract, and if God, for example, would have broken that contract, then there would be an entrance towards God, and that is still not. No one is capable of ever harming God. God is tired. I heard other people talking about it, by the way, that God is very tired and the Creator is very tired. But He cannot ever be harmed. But I've been there. Then there is a connection to everyone, all beings. It is an amazing feeling. And a lot of people who have met God or the Creator even don't want to come back to when they left the body. And I myself, when I was in the Creator and God, it's again that free will, then that touches me again, because it was like I felt a hand totally, the hand of God. That's also an expression. And I'm not so biblical, because I want to reread Bible versions again, but I want to do too much. I have no time for it. But I want to read in here and now again the Bible. I want to read also the Quran again. But I have no time for it, so I hope it will come, Hello, Eric. Hey, Soul Mirror. Yeah, always nice. How are you doing? Welcome. So nice that you dropped by. So what I wanted to say is that in God, in the Creator, that's that free will. But that contract is that free will. So and God will never ever go away from that, because that is God, the Creator, and it is, there are people who were there and out of body experiences a lot, and there are also, by the way, in between out of body experiences. That is also an interesting subject, and there are fake dimensions. There are fake hellish spheres who are actually hellish spheres, but show as heaven, and it's so complex. And as well as Petrus, the garden of Petrus at the gate of heaven. Do I say that well? Because I'm talking already, of course. I wish I could continue. It's already 15 past 10. It's such an interesting subject. But the heaven gates. The heaven gates, there is also a copy of heaven gates, which is not heaven gates, but gates to hell-like atmospheres. And the basic thing where the demons and Lucifer and Satan and that P energy can lean on is that people are too much in fear and survival. And it's awful, because many people cannot overcome their fears or their own hurt and their harms, and I understand that. I have a lot of respect for it. Here my dear friend told me, when I was, for example, in incredible literal physical pain, and that my hurt of reliving my harm and the tortures, and that she said, Monique, I totally understand if you want to go. I so understand it. And I understand if you're at the point that you want to leave this life. I get it. But that is to give an example of how hard it is to really believe and really stick to that. We can say no. We can say no to evil right now. If we would do that now, all together, on all these multi-platforms, I have to smile, because Dana Durnford always have to smile when I say that. Like, you're again on 7+ platforms. Yes, I am. So if we say now, no to evil. Then we touch the others, and then people will join, I'm sure. And it's not to call up, it's just my vision, it's just a dream. Oh, I feel it. I truly feel that a lot of you are doing it now. And yeah, it is not meant to be new agey. It is really what can cause this ripple effect of this mass saying no to evil all at the same time. Like one big choir. I was conductor once in my previous life here on earth, in this life, in all this same body. And I loved it. Well, you can see me shine, and yeah, I have so many great memories of that, and being with pop artists, and they learned me so much about it as well. But it is about, and also unconditional love. Many of musicians are connected to God source and to the creator, and I learned so much of them. And it is simple. Let us all say no en masse at the same time, like one giant choir. No to evil, yes to love. Exactly. And you can feel it. I feel my here. I feel a lot happening when I said that. So let's start a movement. It's just a dream. It's maybe I'm not accurate, but it's just a dream. Let's start a movement of say no to evil all at the same time. And it is really true. But I had a couple of days ago, I had that image of shall I make T-shirts with say no to evil. Just say no to evil. Mo says, just say no to evil, or something like that. And reversed, evil is life, huh? Live. Yeah, it's just. And again, Barry is reminding me of react on the heart icon on Twitch. Yes, and by the way, on YouTube, I always say it one time in a live stream, and I apologize for that. I know all YouTubers and all streamers do it, but it's apparently I really want to grow as a channel, and I'm shadow banned for years now, and I've had it. So I give myself a gift by just mentioning it and asking you to subscribe, follow, like, share, comment on YouTube, and it really helps to get more on the radar of the AI of YouTube. It is just, yeah, it's the fact what I also experienced and investigated. The soul mirror, a powerful no will go around the world as a ripple. Yeah, as a ripple effect, indeed, Eric. And for the people, that's, yeah, Eric, you do overall the things in Dutch language, but to the people, the most people know you already, but Eric also has his own live show every week, and he touches upon positive, but also, yeah, sharing a lot. But there's a lot of good vibes and poetry. So, but it is in Dutch. Danny, I've been trying for 23 years now to spread love and kindness with my show. Yeah, and I feel that, Danny, but you know that already. That is what I could see also. And also Danny Julia, by the way, he has a nice new concept of doing online, writing a new script for a play. And it is so, yeah, I love his energy, so please support him as well. He's on Twitch. And yeah, a short promo for Danny as well, Danny Jolly. And he's also on YouTube, by the way. Barry, or ignore evil. When evil calls, do not confirm its existence. Yeah, well, that's part of it, Barry. Yeah, I know what you mean. But there is a stage, well, that's just what I feel. by accepting there is evil, no longer be afraid for evil. That's a stage what a lot of people don't dare to. If you know what I mean. And that's the same with accepting that there are shadow worlds, that there are demons, and that Satan exists, that he is there. By acknowledging that it is there, then you can embrace the shadow, and then it can no longer harm you. That's actually what I mean. But I do understand what you mean as well, Barry. It's also, I avoid evil. If I see, for example, a quarrel somewhere on the street, I send them energy. But what I also do, should I accept when share screen? Do you know on Trovo what's happening, Barry? Share screen? Oh. I did not. So, thank you, Barry. Truthiness. Gotta go, Monique. You are blessed. Yeah, you too. God blessed. You too, Truthiness. I thank you for being here now for a whole live stream already. I was thinking about you again, like I should mail you again. And then there you are. So always great to have you here. So thank you so much for your support. Yes to love, exactly. Sing it. No to evil. Yeah, like a song, like a choir. I really had that, like the shirts, the t-shirts. Really, the t-shirts. And then, of course, I also put on my bio.link, I'm also very practical. And I'll promote some others. But for me, really, that's really my passion, to see that vision materialize. Ka-ching! That really makes me smile. That really could happen. I truly feel that could happen. So, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome, Danny. Let's do that off after the live. Yeah, that's a good idea, Barry. Thanks. It is a standard messenger thingy. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's love to hear the explanation. Then I'm glad that my feeling told me don't push that button. And now I realize, yeah, it's 5 minutes before I have to quit, and I always do last part with questions and a bit in a lighter modus, on lighter mode. Yeah. And I almost have to quit the live stream, and it would be great to continue, but I am then overall 3 hours live in total. So, and by the way, Dana Durnford comes back for a third one. I had contact with him today, or was it yesterday evening? Well, he will come back in 3 to 4 weeks. So, yeah, part 3 about Dana Durnford's incredible research of decennia of research about nuclear energy and Fukushima and Chernobyl and the harm it is via his research being doing and still is influencing the world around us. Yeah, Tineke Jessie, yeah, that's and it is very frustrating for me what you say with the W. I also know members and the leader of that organization. Oh, can you imagine how frustrating it sometimes is for many survivors, I'm sure, and victims? Even more for victims, because they didn't learn to create a certain overcoming their fears or their voice. But how frustrating it is to see people in the world, and not just one or two, no, many. I still see them active in the world who sexually abused me, raped me, tortured me, killed people in front of my eyes, did experiments on African people. Not just a few people, no, whole families with children, babies. They are still there. Why? Ooh, can you imagine? That is for someone who is being abused by these people. That gives a feeling of, I don't have that power because no one is showing that they believe me. And that's how many victims and survivors feel. It's very frustrating. And I cross that frustration, but sometimes I still do feel it when, I'm human. I'm glad I'm human. No, I'm not reptilian. I'm human. I can say that as well. A specific human, and I know my origin, but I'm not a reptilian. And I'm glad I am not. And not that they are all evil. That's another story. Oh man, what did I touch upon? Yeah, thanks so much, Tineke Jessie, and also thank you for everyone who shares and on share the live streams, like and so on. It's heartwarming again. Yeah, indeed, Soul Mirror, nicely spoken. That is not trying, you're doing it, and that counts. Good work will go around. Have faith, and keep doing what you do. You're not alone, exactly. Nice, Dana. Yeah, it is. It is. And on forehand, again, the question, if there are people who like to, if Dana comes back to support me in, for example, helping out with collecting the questions and so on, you can approach me via email, and it can also be someone from abroad. I would love to have someone also from abroad who would who would really enjoy it to bit practice with, that we have an extra hand for that. That would be great. So again, for everyone who is interested, you can message me or mail me via Proton Mail. That's now not seen on my live. I see. I did everything in the wrong order, but it was because of course, that Dana was here, and I was in that chaotic state today with the military. Well, I will put it up now. Okay, there it is. Yeah. Ka-ching! Oh gosh. James Lucid, very cool. Yeah. And I will notify you all on my all my platforms, so many, and also on that of other platforms like of Barry Henderson and TVOP to promote. Saturday continue. Yes, coming Saturday I will be doing the live stream in Dutch. That's overall the case, except when Dana is here. Yeah, then for us both is the Saturday the best. So that's why I then, sadly enough, sacrifice the Saturday Dutch live. But coming Saturday will be Dutch and the same theme. And I always add details because for me live streaming is being spontaneous and the way I am, as best as I am and can be, with all my deprogramming. So, Tineke Jessie, that is great news that Dana is coming back in a live. Yeah, it is. It is so much knowledge that has to be just give a voice. Sputniki, love to see Dana again soon. Yeah, now that's so great. I get so many people who love having him back for part 3, and he as well, by the way. Soul mirror, let's focus on the good stuff and put our energy on everything we want to happen. Yes. So, my focus is that mass just accidentally we're all together in, joining our love vibe and going for the no to evil. Danny, I'll be doing a first writing session tomorrow evening, starting at 7:30 Paris time. I'll give a shout out to you, Monique. Ah, that's so nice, and I will. I think I will manage to drop by. That's great, and everyone else can see that now too. So welcome and support his channel on Twitch. Thank you so much, Barry. And did you already do a shout out for yourself? I can do that as well, of course. I was so busy talking and babbling. So, dear people, welcome to next Tuesday, of course. Hello, Destroys 15. Thank you for the follow. I'm about to, sadly enough, have to stop the live stream. I'm really sad about it. Thank you again for another follow, Brian the Great 98. Wow, thank you. Welcome here in this community. And next Tuesday I will start again from 7:30 doing the live stream. And coming week, or not this week, I think, but you never know with me. I live accordingly to what I feel. That's very important for me. And of course, if I'm not too tired of the deprogramming, which is for me an incredible burden because I want to do so much, but my body says that no. Computer says no. But my body, computer says no. And so Saturday the Dutch live, then Tuesday the English live stream. And I will do an after midnight Amsterdam time live stream around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning for here in Amsterdam time coming week. So, but I will announce that. Danny Yoli, so much positive energy here. Yeah, it is, huh? Yeah, righty. Well, it passed 10, 11. So, yeah, I'm sad, but I have to all say goodbye to you all. And I love to answer the questions of Brian the Great, but did you already, were you present at the live stream? Already, did you hear my talk? No, that's fine, but yeah, you're welcome to join me next time. So, dear everyone, thank you so much for, and I started to shout out, and that happens. Oh, I did it. I did it in Trovo. The shout out, Barry. Oh, sugar, jongen. I'm doing great. But that is because it is intense to talk about this subject. That is really the case. So I apologize for that. That it shows like I am not practicing with shout outs and commands, but all right. Destroys 15. I'm sorry, but I will delete that message. But that's not really a nice expression. I'm sorry. I don't want that on my channel, you know? It's all respect for each other. So please don't give such bad names or expressions. Why? Well, that's great. I cannot even. Oh, right. Thanks, Barry. Yeah, here we go again. In the mod section, I cannot delete that message. So, but maybe for another time. All right, dear people. Thank you so much. See you next time. And yeah, I love you all. So, see you all next time. Thank you so much. And also Barry Henderson for moderating again. Again, I go so often live. And of course, Eric coming by. So nice to see you here. Also, the other moderator. And well, otherwise, I will not quit. So, everyone, bye bye, everyone. And I will skip the rating for now, Barry and others. I just need to get to my rest. All right. Now I really will say goodbye. All right, everyone. Bye.